Hi everyone, Vega here, and in today's video, the first in a two-part series, we're going to be making a ranking of the most massive stars in our local area. Will it be Rigel, Betelgeuse, or Antares? Or are there some surprises on the list, some sort of stars that perhaps we don't yet know about? So let's get to it. First of all, what is our local area? I've decided for the purposes of this video to make an arbitrary limit of 1000 light years. We could have crossed it further, but as 1000 is such a nice round number, it seems for now that's what we're going to stick to. So let's have a look at the top 20 stars in terms of mass. This of course isn't to be confused with size. Some local stars may be huge indeed, like Pollux or Arcturus, but in terms of mass they're barely even more than the Sun. And indeed, in last week's video we learned that Sirius A, at just 8.6 light years distance, along with the star of Vega, are actually the largest stars by mass within 50 light years. So in this big scale video, we're going to be talking about the true powerhouses of our local to intermediate area. Let's have a look at the list. Coming in at rank 20 is the blue-white star of Spica, also known as Alpha Virginis. Spica is 250 light years from us, and is the nearest B-class binary system to the Sun. Because of this, Spica has been the subject of many observational studies. It forms part of the Spring Triangle along with Denebola and Regulus. Spica A is around 12 solar masses, and its partner is not quite large enough to make the list at 7.5. We must bear in mind that measurements are not precise, as it's difficult sometimes to accurately measure distance. Spica A has 20,000 solar luminosities, whereas its partner just 2,000. Both of course are huge stars, but one certainly far outshines the other, not that B is any kind of slouch. Coming in at number 19 we have Kappa Scorpii, also known as Girtab B. Also a binary star system, both stars are strong candidates to end up as neutron stars. Maybe one day they may spiral into each other. It is in this kind of collision that most of the heavy elements in our universe, like uranium or Neptunian, are created. At 18 is Eta Centauri, another B-class blue-white star. You may now have noticed that we're going to be finding this as quite a familiar pattern from here on in. Southern Hemisphere's Eta Centauri has a rotational velocity of 330 km a second, and completes a full rotation in less than a day. It's quite startling, isn't it? And it's such a quick turning star that hydrogen emissions from the star have created the decretion disk of gas that's been ejected from the star and now follows it around in orbit around the central body. At number 17, Hadar AA, also known as Beta Centauri, we've already talked about in our video Southern Hemisphere stars. For more information, don't forget to click on the card above. Hadar AA is the largest of a multiple star system with 12.06 solar masses. Epsilon Centauri is another Southern Hemisphere star, and it makes number 16 in our list. The third Centaurus star now in a row. Epsilon has a slightly variable apparent magnitude of 2.30. It's a relatively young star with an age of around 16 million years. Interestingly, the star is a member of the lower Centaurus Acrux subgroup, and this is the nearest association of co-moving stars to the Sun. It's interesting, isn't it, that we live in a galaxy, but within that galaxy we have collections of stars that move more or less together, almost like flocks of birds flying south of winter, within reason of course. At number 15 comes perhaps the first familiar star on the list, Antares A. Antares A is the second largest star by radius within 1000 light years after Betelgeuse. It is however not commonly known that Antares also has a binary star with a beautiful B-class companion that almost pushes into the colour green. The Antares system is one of the true beauties within our intermediate area. The name Antares is derived from the ancient meaning rival to Ares, or opponent of Mars, due to the similarity of its reddish hue to the red planet. It remains quite possible that in the next 10,000 years, for a few months an Antares supernova could light up the skies as bright as the full moon and would be visible in daytime. What a view that would be for us to consider. Now at number 14 comes the tongue-twisting star of Delta Scorpii, another Scorpion star. The star's first name itself is pronounced Scorpius, and surprise surprise, it's yet another B-class star, this time with 13 solar masses and a B 0.3 designation, which means it's almost pushing into the O category. Just 2 degrees south of the Ecliptic Plane, meaning the plane where the planets orbit the Sun, Scorpius was occulted by Saturn's rings when the Voyager 2 probe passed by. Interestingly, its starlight was even unexpectedly blocked by an apparent empty gaps within the ring system, indicating there's actually very little empty space anywhere in the main Saturnian ring mix. Scorpius is a proper motion star of the upper Scorpius subgroup, another wave of stars all moving roughly in the same direction that also includes Antares. Before we continue with the list, if you're enjoying this content and would like a chance to contribute to the channel and help me out in some way, you can always buy me a coffee, which goes to the upkeep of the channel, saving for better equipment. Frankly, it really helps me out in my day-to-day life. You can also help out by subscribing, sharing, or even commenting below, and also by clicking the bell notification. This means every time I release a new video, you'll know about it instantly. Anyway, let's get back to the list. At number 13, Adhara, also known as Epsilon Canis Majoris, is an apparent magnitude of plus 1.5. A few million years ago, Epsilon Canis Majoris was much closer to the Sun than it is at present, causing it to be a much brighter star in the sky. Indeed, around 4.7 million years ago, Adhara was just 34 light years from the Sun. The brightest star in the sky, it had an apparent magnitude of an incredible -4. It would have been bright enough to see in clear daylight. No other star has even come close to attaining this brightness since, nor will any other star obtain this brightness for at least another 5 million years. It's fascinating, isn't it? But Adhara is also the brightest source of extreme ultraviolet in the night sky, a strong source of protons capable of ionizing hydrogen atoms, the interstellar gas between it and the Sun. At number 12, Mirzam, also known as Beta Canis Majoris, is the second brightest apparent magnitude star in the constellation after Sirius, a beta C5 variable that varies in apparent magnitude between plus 1.97 and plus 2.01. From Sirius, Mirzam is unsurprisingly only slightly brighter than from the Sun, as it's still 500 light years distance and Sirius remains at only 8.6. Mirzam appears on the flag of Brazil, symbolising the state of Amapá, and its effective temperature is a staggering 23,000 Kelvin. At number 11, Beta Scorpii A, also known as Acrab A, is the largest in a multiple star system in the southern zodiac constellation of Scorpius, of which B-class Acrab A is the largest at around 14.8 solar masses. Acrab is another member of the proper motion Scorpius subgroup. It's becoming quite a group of stars, isn't it, including Antares as well. Indeed, Acrab lies at just 1.101 degrees from the Ecliptic Plane, and therefore it can actually be occulted by the Moon, and even more rarely by planets. For example, on the 9th of December 1906, Venus occulted Acrab, and on the 13th of May 1971 it was done so by Jupiter. The final star for this week at number 10 is Shaula A, also known as Lambda Scorpii. Shaula is the second brightest star in the constellation of Scorpius after Antares. The traditional name Shaula also comes from Arabic al-Sawla, which means the tail of the scorpion. 578 light years away, Shaula has 15 solar masses and also appears on the flag of Brazil, symbolising the state of Rio Grande do Norte. Shaula's smaller companion, Shaula B, is in fact also just missing out on this list, and itself has 10.06 solar masses. The third star in the Shaula system is where it gets really interesting. Shaula C is a protostar, a star that's in the process of formation and to reach the main sequence. Here we see an artistic depiction of what the star and the whole Shaula system may look like. Coming up in next week's video, we'll delve deeper into this list. It may come as a surprise to some of you so far that the only real star of any note, or at least fame in astronomical circles, is the red supergiant of Antares. We are yet to see the principal stars of Orion, Saiph, Rigel or Betelgeuse. It's also important to point out that many of the stars are so huge and so far away that these rankings are only really my best estimates. I scoured the internet for many days, but I've still yet to find any other ranking of mass of this time. On a final note, luckily so far in the list, none of the stars are close enough that if one day they went supernova, they could damage us. Given the lack of proximity of these huge stars, we can hopefully rule out a supernova event. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to take good care of each other and to look after yourselves. And let me also thank my regular commenters and friends who continue to support this channel and make it all worthwhile. I'll see you on the next one.